Any similarity to real people or events is purely coincidental. In an AP government class, in what some people call the home of royals.
How did the founding fathers promote order and public safety in the Constitution while protecting individual liberty?
I don't know, I only 3. Lol, nope.
Okay, what's the question?
I don't know.
Something about the founding fathers protecting liberty?
While promoting public order and safety.
Okay, but what's the actual answer?
They inserted the Bill of Rights to ensure individual liberty.
How did the founding fathers promote order and public safety in the Constitution?
They inserted the Bill of Rights to ensure individual liberty.
Team, today our launch is going to be very different. We have different WWW words and different focus questions on the board. Our great launch is going to be about a specific case of federalism which we learn about as homework. True or true?
True.
Okay, class. You are going to have 5 minutes to summarize on paper. Remember to stay away from the fluff. Alright, so would anybody like to share what they wrote down?
That wasn't even 5 minutes.
Well, this image demonstrates, the Maryland and McCulloch case, which was a defining moment in the relationship states had with the federal government.
Alright, and what did it decide?
It decided that the federal government was justified in the inclusion of the National Bank in Maryland due to the Necessary and Proper Clause.
Mr. Toss, what are we going to be talking about today?
We are going to have a class discussion on the foundation of government. What do you think? 2 minutes to think?
The foundation of the government is the Constitution.
That wasn't even 2 minutes.
But was it the first?
Nah, man, before the Constitution, there was the Articles of Confederation. However, this failed as it gave too little power to the federal government and was eventually scrapped to be replaced by the Constitution.
So you are saying that the Constitution addresses the weaknesses of the AOC?
True.
Yes, but we both know that it wasn't as easy as simply replacing the AOC. So how did debate and compromise influence the Constitution?
An example of a compromise that the Constitution faced was the Great Compromise. Since some states were interested in equal representation and others were interested in representation based on population, the Great Compromise made Congress bicameral. In this way, there would be a House of Population and one for equal representation.
How does that affect citizens today?
It greatly affects people today because it uses the same system. The current structure of Congress impacts a great part of the US political process, which affects everybody in America.
Can somebody give me an example of when the Constitution's interpretation was contested?
Well, like in the launch, the interpretation of the Constitution was seen in different ways. On one hand, the national government thought that the national bank was necessary and proper. And on the other hand, Maryland believed it was unconstitutional since it was not an enumerated power.
How does that affect citizens and policy today?
Well, it simply confirmed that the federal government reigns supreme and that they have implied power necessary for them to carry out their tasks. This affects people today since the states they live in must endure these implied powers that were not specifically written down.
Based on our conversation, what is one way the Constitution data tracker call on somebody new? Team, sometimes we need an outside opinion to clear any misunderstanding this conversation may have caused. Data tracker, call on someone. Data tracker, where's my data tracker?
Man, she ain't even here today.
I think we need to impeach them.
Looks like we have reached a conclusion. It's time we kick this data tracker's butt out of their seat. What about that buddy system we put in place after the accident of '06?
Sometimes we need to cleanse a character for their ineptitude. Imagine over time, 5-5 winner takes all. Suddenly, our captain didn't show up. Buddy, where's the buddy?
I'm right here, Mr. Toss. Daniel's son?
Thank you, buddy system. So, how do you think the Constitution should be interpreted?
As we all know, the necessary and proper clause leaves much room for interpretation, which is a necessary and beneficial thing, because it gives the federal government enough power to keep the states in check.
Legend says none of the other students in that classroom walked out of that room. But that's not what's important. What's important is that we learn about some history. Thank you for listening.